The pound-for-pound best boxer in the world, Naoya Inoue, widely known as the Monster, has built a reputation of invincibility. But many argue he has steered clear of the one opponent who might crack that perfect record, the wild, unpredictable Filipino brawler Riel Casemiro. Fans and critics alike are split, some believing Inoue is an untouchable technician, others convinced that Casemiro is the one man alive who can derail the Japanese sensation. Yet for all the talk of greatness, one question continues to linger in the minds of boxing fans. Why has Inoue never stepped into the ring with Casemiro? Casemiro, for his part, is eager for that showdown. With his trademark cockiness and ferocity, he has repeatedly challenged Inoue, accusing the Japanese champion of avoiding him. Inoue, you are not a monster. You are Japanese. No monster, Casemiro once declared with bold disdain, taunting the fighter many call a generational talent. It's this kind of energy, wild, fearless, and unfiltered, that has made Casemiro a fighter to watch and one of the most polarizing figures in the sport today. His style doesn't aim to outpoint his opponents, it aims to obliterate them. The fans, of course, are salivating for the match. A showdown between Inoue and Casemiro would be one of the best stylistic clashes of the 21st century. On one side, a precise and lethal technician in Inoue. On the other, a relentless, heavy-handed whirlwind in Casemiro. But before such a dream bout can become reality, it's worth revisiting how Riel Casemiro reached this level and why so many believe he's the one fighter destined to beat Inoue. Back in the late 20th century, the boxing world was dominated by fighters from the Soviet Union, the United States, and the United Kingdom. These nations produced the majority of world champions and Olympic medalists. But in the decades that followed, a seismic shift occurred. The Philippines, once viewed as a minor player in the boxing world, surged forward, producing global champions with frightening regularity. Manny Pacquiao led the charge, transforming into a global icon with world titles in 8 divisions. Nonito Donaire followed, becoming one of the most respected and technically gifted fighters of his generation. And now, the torch has been passed to Riel Casemiro. A 3-division world champion, Casemiro earned his nickname Cuadro Alas, not just through titles but through the sheer force of his performances. He is not merely a puncher. He is a calculated destroyer, capable of inflicting serious damage with either hand and blessed with a fighter's heart that refuses to quit. In 2023, he was named Boxer of the Year, a testament to his relentless rise through the ranks and his undeniable impact on the sport. Casemiro's dominance over Japanese fighters began in earnest in February 2019. That year, he faced off against the powerful Japanese knockout artist Kenya Yamashita, a fighter who many believed could push Casemiro to his limits. But what unfolded that night was a showcase of Filipino firepower. Casemiro bounced in and out of range with the energy of a prime Pacquiao, mixing explosive uppercuts and looping hooks with brilliant footwork. He didn't just beat Yamashita, he dismantled him. From the opening bell, Casemiro was the aggressor. He slipped punches with ease, countered with terrifying speed, and connected with shots that sent shockwaves through the arena. Yamashita tried to fight fire with fire, but he couldn't match the Filipino's intensity. In the third round, what began as a back-and-forth war quickly turned into a one-sided beatdown. Casemiro landed a monstrous uppercut that snapped Yamashita's head back. The crowd erupted. It was the kind of knockout that made headlines and struck fear into future opponents. Casemiro wasn't just winning fights, he was making statements. His win over Yamashita was only the beginning. Over the next few years, he carved a path of destruction across multiple weight divisions, building a 9-fight win streak that included 7 championship bouts. By 2023, Casemiro had become the face of the new Filipino boxing generation. He was fierce, he was fearless, and he was ready to conquer Japan once again. His opportunity came on October 12, 2023, when he made his debut in Japan against Yukinori Oguni, a former IBF Super Bantamweight World Champion. The stakes were high. The fight was for the WBO Global Super Bantamweight title, and many viewed it as the final test to see whether Casemiro was truly ready for Inoue. The Ariake Arena in Tokyo was packed, the air electric with anticipation. Casemiro knew he had to deliver something unforgettable. Oguni started strong. He boxed smartly, using his reach and footwork to keep Casemiro at bay. His combinations were sharp, and he landed several clean shots that momentarily forced Casemiro to retreat. Japanese fans cheered as Oguni displayed the kind of technical boxing that their country is known for. But Casemiro, as always, was merely waiting for his moment. Midway through the fight, Casemiro turned up the heat. He dug vicious body shots into Oguni's ribs, followed by overhand rights that echoed through the arena. He smiled after taking punches, daring his opponent to throw more. Then, he exploded with a furious combination that had Oguni wobbling. The Japanese fighter responded in kind, throwing heavy punches in the center of the ring. The bout turned into a brawl, and the crowd was loving every second. But the chaos took its toll. In the fourth round, a clash of heads opened a deep cut over Oguni's right eyebrow. Blood poured down his face. The referee called the ringside physician to examine the damage. Despite Oguni's desire to continue, the doctor waved it off. The fight was ruled a technical draw. Two judges had Casemiro up 29-28. The third had Oguni ahead by the same margin. It wasn't the statement win Casemiro had hoped for, but it didn't hurt his momentum. By this point, Casemiro was ranked third by the WBO and sixth by the IBF. The next logical step? A fight with the undisputed bantamweight champion, Naoya Inoue. But Inoue, who had just unified the division after beating Marlon Tapales, made it clear that Casemiro wasn't currently on his radar. Whether it was due to promotional conflicts, style concerns, or business decisions, the matchup remained out of reach. This has only added fuel to the fire. Casemiro supporters argue that Inoue is dodging the Filipino because he poses the biggest threat to his reign. They point to Casemiro's durability, his power, and his unpredictability. Inoue, they say, has never faced anyone quite like Cuadro Alas. On the other hand, Inoue's fans believe Casemiro hasn't earned the right to face the Japanese icon. They cite his technical deficiencies, his tendency to get reckless, and his controversial behavior outside the ring. But controversy is part of what makes Casemiro so compelling. He brings drama, both inside and outside the ring. He taunts, he brags, and he fights like every round is a life-or-death battle. He doesn't care about playing politics. He wants the big fights, and he wants them now. In a sport too often plagued by promotional barriers and ducking, Casemiro's callouts feel refreshingly genuine. If the Inoue versus Casemiro fight ever happens, it would be a spectacle unlike any other. Inoue is a master of distance, timing, and precision. He breaks opponents down with surgical efficiency. Casemiro, in contrast, is a storm. He thrives in chaos. He would force Inoue into uncomfortable exchanges, throw looping shots from wild angles, and test the Japanese fighter's chin in ways no one else has. Predicting the outcome of such a fight is no easy task. Inoue would almost certainly be the favorite. His resume, skill set, and composure are nearly unmatched. But Casemiro has made a career out of upsetting the odds. He would enter the ring with no fear, aiming to knock Inoue out with every punch he throws. And if he connects, even once, cleanly, anything could happen. As of now, the fight remains a fantasy. But boxing has a way of delivering the unexpected. The sport thrives on rivalries, tension, and unresolved questions. And few questions are more tantalizing than this. What happens when the monster meets the madman? Will Inoue's perfect technique prevail? Or will Casemiro drag him into a war and emerge as the last man standing? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the world will be watching. Boxing fans deserve this clash of titans, not just for the titles at stake, but for the legacy it would create. Until then, Casemiro continues to knock on the monster's door, waiting for an answer, daring him to come outside and fight. And when that day comes, the world will witness one of the most explosive matchups in modern boxing history.